We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. We only have one life to live. And we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes. Cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people they know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people they know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life. Try to live a positive life anyway. Oh, we only have one life to live. We have to live. We only have one life to live. We have to live it. We only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a positive.
Yes, greetings, family. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? That's what we are about. That's what it is about today. How you feeling? Oh, we're gonna be in a very good mood today. Got some tantric healing coming up in a few minutes with our dear Master Yao coming in for the first time on King Simon Presents. So if you hear in the background music, you hear a little tantric sensual music in the background. We just setting the pace as we get ready to bring on our great Baba, the one, the only Master Yao Morris, coming in live and direct right here on King Simon Presents. Good afternoon to one and all. And remember, you can ask questions, and please make sure you write your questions down. Make sure you write your questions correctly in the chat when it's time, okay? So I'm going to put this music at a lower pace so it can be right under my speech. And of course, just want to remind everybody of the things that are coming up. Thank y'all very much for coming in. People are coming in. Please share this video, share this video, share this video. All right, so it's very important because this is all about healing through sexual healing, but it's known as tantric healing. And we're going to go into all of that, and all of those questions are going to be answered tonight as we bring on the great Master Yao. I will not show my face until, of course, we bring on the Baba and do what we have to do for him. And just want to remind each and every one of the shows that are coming up right here on King Simon Presents. Just want to remind everybody what's coming up right here on King Simon Presents. As you can see on the screen, next on King Simon Presents, Sunday, July the 5th, we have Sister Aquarius Maxim, the one, the only Guap Coin founder. And she's not only a scientific data master, and she's a cardologist or a cardologist. She will be bringing that wisdom with us. And so me and her will be doing what we got to do when she comes on Sunday, July the 5th. On Wednesday, July the 8th, we have Sister Shahrazad Ali making her appearance on King Simon again. She hasn't been on my show for a while, and last time she did it was via telephone. So we're going to do it via video this time. So we're going to have the great Sister Shahrazad Ali on July the 8th. At least that's what expected. I just want to confirm. I'll be confirming a lot of that with her as we put that date down tentatively to have her on. On July the 11th, we have Brother Taki from Happy Films will be in the building. That's right. On July the 11th, we'll have, of course, remember the world premiere is happening on July the 18th. So we are happy to have our brother Taki from Happy Films. And on July the 12th, we have Priestess Het Heru from the Benu Ascension program. She'll be coming in and dropping that wisdom of the Kemetic and Commission wisdom of our dear land of Africa. Africa, like Baba Heru always says, but she is well studied, well versed in what she does, and she helps you to ascend. And that's why she used the Banu Ascension program to help give guidance to those who need it. Just want to remind many of you that are tuning in. Just want to remind you once again on July the 18th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the world premiere of Happy. Make sure you buy your tickets for those front row tickets, those front row seats. Make sure you buy your tickets at happyfilms.com. That's happyfilms.com. And that means you can actually watch it on all your devices. All your devices, you can watch this grand premiere of Happy Film and documentary about economics and culture, featuring great people like, of course, Dr. Patrice Newton, Professor James Smalls, and many others is going to be on there. And remember, you can get the DVD and digital download after the premiere on July 18th. So on July 19th, you can get those DVDs and get those digital downloads. Okay, so I can't wait for that to happen. Also, just want to remind people again as we continue my book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, because there's a lot of mental things going off. I just discovered, I said in a program, one of my friends, he took his life the other day. He was born on the 13th, and his birthday is actually coming up. And I actually wrote this book because of certain numbers and certain patterns and certain sequences that I see in numerology. And Numerovation is a system that I created to help motivate you with your numbers, even when you're going through depression, when you need to understand what frequency you may be in as far as in a particular year or day, but just to pay attention to those particular numbers that show up in your name and your birthday. And like I've said numerous times, people, that 13 or people born under the 4th, the 13th, or the 31st or the 22nd of every month have to protect their mind at all costs. It's always about protecting your mind because that is a mental number. And the primary numbers, according to my studies and research, has been the number 4, the number 7 being the primary numbers, and secondary numbers are the number 8, the number 5, and then the number 3. On the 5 and 3 is more of a nervous issue, and dealing with nerves and sometimes mental frustration and nervous frustration. And then the 8 is more because sometimes 8 are misunderstood, and they usually go through lonely thoughts and all that kind of stuff. They usually feel a little depressed and go through those depressions because they feel lonely and don't realize that they are really never alone. And because it's a multitude of 4, we got to pay attention to that also. So once again, make sure you get my book. I'm taking pre-orders right now. Numerovation for mental stability. The price is $40.40 via PayPal. That's paypal.me/the Numerovator. And please include your full name and mailing address in the PayPal notes. So when it's time to ship them out, you will get your books. Okay. Very important that we recognize and do that, because numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. Numbers don't lie. People lie to themselves. And on below, as you can see, please like, share, subscribe to King Simon Presents on YouTube. Also, I do have a Patreon page. That's www.patreon.com/King Simon Productions. And KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. You can get all your information and news on there about numerology, information about my events, and also you can get things about disaster preparedness and all that. All you have to do is scroll down and look for all of that. And be a part of my community on KingSimonProductions.wordpress.com. And don't forget, I have another website called www.numbersaresimple.com. Okay. Wow. So we got a show for you, family. We got a very interesting show for you tonight. And I am happy to have this beloved brother coming on. His name is Master Yao. And of course, that is his big path to high level orgasm coming up. A lot of us need to learn how to do this. I myself need to learn how to do this. I remember I was introduced to this by a dear therapist and friend of mine named Dr. Sunyata Amen. Very beautiful sister. You've seen her on Michael Baisden's show. You've seen her on various places. She also have a place in Washington, D.C. where she sells teas and also teaches belly dancing, and she teaches the healing arts of sexuality and healing art. And as a matter of fact, she introduced me to two books that I'll show when Master Yao come up. The one, the only Sunyata Amen introduced me to two books. She introduced me to Healing Love Through the Tao, Cultivating Female Sexual Energy. And Dr. Sunyata Amen introduced me to The Multi-Orgasmic Man about 15, 20 years ago. So I've had these books. I didn't really go right into them yet, but you know, it is what it is. And but now that I've gotten our brother that's coming up next, I see him in the backstage. So we'll bringing him up momentarily. But I just want to remind everybody that he has a great event coming up on July the 23rd. That's right, July the 23rd. It's a great event that he got coming up. And if you want to join or participate in this event, whether live or through live stream, it's happening on July the 31st. I mean, July 23rd. I'm sorry, that's July 23rd. And it's going to be not only a live event, but it's also going to be live streamed. So if you want further information about that, here is the website. You could go to Master Yao's events and live stream access at gti.wildapricot.org/stores. This is on the flyer also, this particular one. So I had this written up in the flyer already, but it's happening on July 23rd. And he's doing multi-level orgasmic teachings. And he's also going to include semen retention regimen. So we're going to talk about that. And it's 2 minutes before 8 o'clock, 2 minutes before 8 o'clock on the East Coast, 2 minutes before the top of the hour all over the world. So we're getting ready to bring on Master Yao. And before we do that, you know, I got to read his bio because it's an extensive bio. And well, and we're going to just break it in portions, and we're going to read it, and then we're going to bring him on with a well-deserved round of applause, as we do right here on King Simon Presents. So our dear brother, Master Yao, we're going to bring him on, and let me read the bio real quick. The founder, the one, the only Master Yao Morris. Yao is an author, entrepreneur, healer, and tantric instructor extraordinaire. He completed the Amanmir Research Project in 1996 with indigenous cultures. He was raised to the rank of master thereafter. He is a member of the International Circle of Masters. He is a pioneer in alternative medicine. He is accomplished in iridology, herbal medicine, genital reflexology, and more. He is certified in boiler operations, operation of heavy machinery, carpentry, and hydraulic systems. He holds an engineering degree and federal engineering license. We'd like to welcome on our show right here on King Simon Presents the one, the only Master Yao in the building as we welcome our beloved brother. Let me take this down first. Let me take this down first. And let's welcome our beloved brother right here on King Simon Presents. Let me put myself in the screen. And of course, welcome Master Yao. How are you, Master Yao?
Great. How you doing?
How you do, my brother? How you do, my
Excellent.
brother? How's everything?
Excellent. Excellent. I'm happy to be here. Welcome to your guest.
Well, I am honored to have you here, my brother. I've heard so much about you over the years. I've heard about you from Ankh Rising Sun. I've heard about you from Nit Yama, another master in what he does. And of course, I've gotten your book. And those who don't have his book, this is one of them. Let me show it up close and personal so people can know. This is on his website, and I will be promoting Awakening the Master Masculine and Awakening the Master Feminine by Master Yao. Brother, everybody has been anticipating this show, my brother, for reasons beyond me, of course. But I am honored to have you here. And first and foremost, I want to say, how's the family? How's everybody on your side?
Everybody over here is good and better than good.
Good, good. And I just want to remind people what I just put on the screen. Master Yao for consultation. If you want to contact Master Yao for consultation information, his number is 443-721-6062. That's 443-721-6062. His Cash App, if you want to spread some tantric love, please. The $ KHEMSA. That's Kemsa. That's $ Kemsa. Or you can also do the PayPal or email him through the PayPal email. That's thegrandtrine@gmail.com. And for products and information on website, please go to, of course, his website, gti.wildapricot.org. My brother. Woo! My brother, you have this is a strong topic. First and foremost, you got this event coming up on July 23rd, correct?
Yes.
Now, let's talk about that first. Let's go into that event and why it's important for people to participate in such an event. And please share that with them.
It's a first.
Mm-hmm.
Grand Trine has been in an organization for over 10 years. But this is the first time that we have been teaching this particular class. There are 7 sessions in the class, and we're covering a topic that's not covered that often. And the reason it's so paramount, especially today, is because it's covering 2 subjects that are near and dear to my heart. One is the practical use of sexuality. Number 2 is life hacks or ways to jumpstart your spiritual evolution, both in one package. So we've sort of kept these things private over the years. And as we've introduced them to more and more people now, there's so many people in Grand Trine who've been introduced to this privately and who are talking about it in Atlanta that we said, okay, we might as well just do the class because so many people are getting tidbits. We said, let's do the class because it's better that they get the information right from jump and get it correct than to perhaps get bits and pieces here and there. But we've never done this before. It's sort of like when you get to a point where your sexual life stops being just sexual. In other words, a lot of people are having some really good experiences and some not so good. But there's a point that anybody who's into Tantra knows. You get to a point where it stops being purely, mainly sexual. And it starts becoming a dual experience where you're having these very significant spiritual experiences as a consequence of your sexual life. Mm-hmm. And so we feel like people are at the point now where there's a minority group, it's a small group, but significant, mm-hmm. who are ready for this, who are ready for it. And so we're going to go ahead and release the Kraken.
I'm with that. Now, let's say who is Master Yao? Let's go back into your history first before we bring, because obviously your history led you into what you're doing today. Let's go into your history, please. Explain to our audience, who are you?
Well, I grew up on a farm.
Yes.
A country boy. My first big job was in New York City in corporate America. I was kind of overwhelmed at first. And I decided to leave corporate America as a consequence of the apartheid situation in South Africa and some other things going on. As a consequence of the campaign by Randall Robinson. Then there was a lot of things going on at that time, and I felt like I needed to become an entrepreneur. So I did. I tried different things. And around 1990, I had a very, I don't know what you would call it, but I had an experience. So, my apartment blew up and I was supposed to be dead and all of that, but I didn't die. And while I was out unconscious, something happened. I guess that's the best way to put it. So after that, I started coming in contact with all of these indigenous masters, and they asked me to archive their information for them, which I did. And a lot of things happened during those 7 years. Too much to talk about in one show. But it kind of changed me, and, I just kind of became a different person. So I tried to start Grand Trine in 1997, right after I became master. Didn't work. People weren't ready. So I started teaching privately, doing my things. And I tried, a total of 3 times. In 2010, I was finally successful. And in Grand Trine, I've been trying to teach people some of the information that was given to me and some of the information that I researched and discovered. Starting then, the thing that we became famous for was the Tantric work, because we kind of redefined the definition of Tantra.
And let's go there, please. Let's go there. Because we want to find out what is Tantra and why are so many of us as Black people or original people are not open to it.
That's an excellent question.
Yes, sir.
I didn't really believe in it myself. When I first heard about it, I was traveling around the world, different places, and people would mention it and talk about it. And I'd be like, yeah, right. Sure. Because they were talking about some pretty unbelievable things that you could do. But then I started seeing people doing it. This is in the 1980s. I heard about a guy. I didn't know, I didn't know he was real, but I heard about this guy. At the time, I didn't even know his name. They were talking about Osho, and they were talking about all the things he was doing, and I'm like, no. And so when the Amamara project started, that wasn't part of what I was doing, looking for Tantra. I was doing this indigenous work and all of this spiritual work and stuff. But I just started seeing people doing the stuff in the books that was, you supposedly couldn't do it anymore. And I'm like, what the heck? And then you started seeing bits and pieces here and there. But I eventually realized that 2 really important things. Number one, that humans never finished puberty. And if they were to finish puberty, it would be an amazing jump forward for them. Number 2, I realized that Tantra was not some fancy exotic thing. Tantra was the high-level sexual programming already in our DNA. When I started trying to learn how to do it, it came natural because we're all programmed to do it. So, I remember doing some of the stuff and then trying it out in the bedroom, and I'll be like, whoa, that's crazy. You mean I could have always been doing this? Mm-hmm. And it just kind of blew my mind. So everybody was telling me, Tantra was this exotic Eastern science, no. I found that people in Russia have been doing it for hundreds of years. People in China, people in Africa, the Native Americans had one of the highest Tantra civilizations on earth. Mm-hmm. One of the biggest civilizations practicing it was the Khmer Empire in what is now Cambodia. They took it to a very high level. Mm. But, I said, we can bring it back. And I started to do that because I had made all of these connections with ancestors and elementals and entities and deities. And so I'm like, okay, I got all of these resources. Why can't I bring Tantra back so that it is now the way it used to be? And that was something that I made a lot of progress in doing. Mm. In 2010, we started seeing people. We had already been doing it from 1997 to 2010. A lot of stuff had already happened. But once we started Grand Trine, we had a good group of people, and we could see it in practice, taking regular people, teaching it to them, and then seeing, okay, can they really do it? Right. And is it everything that they said? And I found out that the answer was yes.
Mm. Mm. Now, Master Yao, and those that are just tuning in, we are here with Master Yao, Extraordinary Tantric Extraordinaire, in the building. And please share and like this video. Please share and like this video because it's very important that we share this information, because a lot of us are sexually frustrated, just like men and women are sexually frustrated. Some women will say men are selfish. Some women will say as long as they get off on themselves, they all right. But this is more than sex. I want people to understand that this is more than just sexual penetration and the regular way that we was taught sex from either a European perspective or whatever perspective. This is more than that. Please, Baba, explain, why is Tantra so much more than just what we've been taught from the sexual revolution of the 60s and 70s up to now? Why is it so? Because I know this is an ancient practice, so please explain that.
The first thing that we have to understand is that we really have to change the message for the existing Tantra instructors in this country. Most of them are teaching it incorrectly. Mm-hmm. And I've tried to influence them, and I have to some extent, but we still have to change a lot of the people in that industry because they are not up to speed. Mm-hmm. Number two, you have to understand that human beings as a species have 3 levels of sex. They have juvenile sex, mm-hmm. adult level sex, and high level sex. And that, there are variations, of course, but basically, juvenile level sex is, you're really doing it wrong. You're immature, okay? And that's, a lot of people are doing that. Mm-hmm. Adult level sex is when you shift from being what I would call penis centered until the man is looking at sex from his whole being. In other words, his prostrate, his brain, and his other bodies. So he's like organically, he's a whole. Instead of part sex, he's a whole sex. With women, it means moving from the clitoral scenario where it's sort of a peripheral thing and bringing the focus of it inside into the vagina and becoming a whole woman. So your breast, your vagina, your anus, your brain, and your other bodies are all involved in like a symmetry. Mm-hmm. Then what you're looking at here is the fact that humans have more than one body. So this is what catches a lot of people up. So most people are familiar with the cell body, and they think that that's all there is. No. So you have 4 bodies, right? You have your cell body, Then you have an energy body encasing that. Then you have a light body encasing that, much bigger. And then you have a quantum field body that's huge. That's like 20 feet wide. It's amazing kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And it's what produces all the interior bodies. Mm-hmm. So without getting into a whole bunch of the science of that, right. Basically, juvenile sex is sex mainly with just the cell body. That's mm-hmm. it. Which is, that's not where it's at. Mm-hmm. Then adult level sex is the energy body. It's the cell body and the energy body sort of aligned, right? Mm-hmm. And that's much better. That's kind of like, where you should be starting as an adult. And then, when you get the light body lined up a little bit with that, just get it in the game. It doesn't have to be the main player. Just get that body in the game. Mm-hmm. Now you're dealing with high level orgasm because you've got 3 of the lower bodies all participating. And so what happens is that each time you move up a step, when you go from cell body to cell body and energy body, when you got 2 bodies instead of 1, a whole lot more is possible. Mm-hmm. So you have like man, woman. So the male, by being male, has a potential sexual energy, just like a electrical wire with a plus and minus. When you put them together, there's a charge. Same thing with male and female. So the man who has 1 body has a certain type of charge that he can get into it, that he can put a certain amount of energy into orgasm, sex, and into spiritual life. When you put that other body in there, that amount that he has is much, much more. You bring the light body online, it's like 100 times more that you can put into that can be released from that male pole, female pole combination. So it's a whole science to this that's normally secret, private or whatever, mm-hmm. not because it's secret, but because people are so afraid of it. Mm-hmm. The reason that we don't really share it is because it's so foreign to people mm-hmm. that they get scared. They're like, oh God, no, don't hit me with the okie. But, it's time that the people who are ready mm-hmm. be upgraded. And yes. Those that's not ready, hey, just leave them alone. We don't judge them. Let them be. Let them keep doing the juvenile stuff. That's fine. Mm-hmm. But people can kind of get to the adult level on their own once they start normal development. But it's very difficult in today's climate to get to the high level stuff. Why is that important? Why is high level orgasm important? It's critically important because that's when you start to bring your gifts online. Mm-hmm. So you've got gifts in your cell body, you've got gifts in your energy body, gifts in your light body. Orgasm is one of the best things that humans do, aligning these bodies together. In other words, it's aligning your subconscious with your conscious, aligning your cell body with your energy body, aligning your sexual body with your nervous system and your brain neurochemistry. It's lining you up, getting you in focus, getting you organized better so that you can do more. Okay, so that you have a more a libido, greater capacity, greater potential, that everything is working in sync. Mm-hmm. High level orgasm can just almost automatically, bam, knock out some of these blocks and impediments to your money, mm-hmm. to your health, and to so many other things. Mm-hmm. So if you're stuck in juvenile level orgasm, every time you're having sex, you're depleting yourself and pushing yourself down, mm-hmm. health-wise, money-wise, sex-wise, mm-hmm. relationship-wise. And there's so many things going on that's negative. If you're adult level orgasm, you're kind of in the middle. You're kind of stasis. You're kind of like you're holding. You're treading water. You're not going down, but you're not coming up, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. And so, but if you're trying to really make this rapid progress spiritually, high level orgasm is one of the windows, portals allowing you to do that, because it does something to your brain chemistry so that your brain can operate on more than one body. Mm-hmm. It's opening you up to be more aware of what's happening on the energy realm, what's happening in the light realm. This is it. All of these people who are priestesses, who are shamans, that's part of what they're doing. Right. They're getting their energy body in the game. And so when you get the light body in the game over. You won. Because, it's like now sex becomes an opening to catapult you into all of these supernatural things that you can do. Now, it doesn't happen overnight.
Of course.
But we want to get people started on this path. We want to get them started. That's what it's about.
But those that are just tuning in, Master Yao's, of course, you could contact Master Yao for consultation and information, 443-721-6062, Cash App, $KEMSA. Of course, that's Cash App, $KEMSA, and don't forget PayPal. And you can email him, of course, via the Grand Trine at Gmail, and for products at his website. And to find out about this great seminar and workshop that he has coming up, please go to gti.wildapricot.org. That's gti.wildapricot.org. Now, Master Yao, what are some of the healthy practices? You mentioned environment and all that. What are some of the healthy practices that one can take or to start to build their environment to help give them guidance or to help start to developing their sexual health in order to do what you're doing or learn what you're teaching, please?
The most important thing, the first thing, is to limit your interaction with toxic people. It's a shame that I have to say this, and my heart is heavy to have to say it, but we just got so many toxic people around us these days. And I'm not saying cut them off completely, but you need to limit your interaction with them and not let them emotionally trigger you. So what I'm saying is you want to surround yourself as much as possible with positive people, with positive messages, and who support you sexually, support your sexual choices, support your sexual decisions, but mainly just want you to have a satisfying, happy, healthy sexual life, relationship life. We've got so many people that's just, they just can't wait to put a negative spin on what's going on around them. They're breeding dissension. They're constantly not only trying to put, dirt between the sexes.
Yes, sir.
But you get women putting dirt on other women, men putting dirt on other men. Men, one group of men because they're handsome or they're, well, you're a beta male because you can't get women the way I do. But, he's got 15 kids. He's not taking care of any of them. So we got this issue of toxic people. And we need to the extent possible, limit our energetic interaction with them because they bring you down.
Right.
When you're doing this type of work, a lot of it is vibrational. Much of what happens in the regular Tantra classes occurs because we're so supportive of people. And because in the class we have older members who have a very high vibration, and they're broadcasting that vibration in the classes, and people bathe in that supportive energy, and that just brings them out and they blossom. You'll be shocked at how much people develop simply by removing the toxic energy from around them and surrounding them with supportive, harmonious energy. Especially people, if a woman is coming out of very negative relationship series, men who are coming out of a lot of negative relationship experiences, they need to really be surrounded with positive energy. This has such a positive effect. Then, of course, the work, typically when we're working on people, when we're doing body work, we typically, before we can really get into the real Tantra, we typically have to spend some time healing people. So if you feel like, you're kind of under the gun, you're under par, you're not where you need to be, before you really try to get into the practice of Tantra, get some Tantric healing work, get 2 or 3 sessions of that to kind of get yourself together. Diet is very important. And the main thing about the diet, there's so much that we could say about the diet, but the main thing is what you drink is more important than what you eat. And probably, because Tantra is based on water molecules. The energy moves across the water because carbon and nitrogen does not conduct electricity as well. So, the proteins that you eat, they don't really change your ability to do energetic work. Right. It's the water. And so you need to drink good water and lots of it. The next thing is oil. Oil is just as important as the water. You need to have omega-3s, omega-6s, omega-9s, quality oils, black seed oil, and things like that. That really changes your body chemistry. Then for meats, it doesn't matter what type of meat you eat, but they should be organic as much as possible, killed properly, raised properly. That's the best thing I could say about that. Other than that, all of the other stuff people already know. Raw is good, right. But a little bit of exercise, get you some sun, and look to your gland health, your 7 endocrine glands, your pineal, pituitary, your thyroid, parathyroid, your thymus, your adrenals, and your gonads. Look to the health of those. If you get your endocrines, your glands, your hormones tight, that's a big step in the right direction.
Baba, in your book, The Awakening of the Master Feminine and the Masculine, you speak about the houses of the woman and the 4 houses of master energies or natal of femininity of masculinity. Explain that briefly, because I know you teach that in your class, but explain that briefly about those 4 houses of women and the 4 houses of men and their masculinity and femininity, please.
If you come to the class and you have all 4 archetypes of your masculine energy online, you're probably going to experience high-level orgasm the first time a high-value woman energetically works on you. So, you have these, what we call archetypes. In other words, you have a DNA, and in your DNA, a portion of that DNA is about your sex, your gender. So it's either masculine or it's feminine. So now this masculine DNA is basically divided up into 4 divisions, 4 elemental divisions, basically. So you have the warrior, the healer, the hunter, and the eagle. And these are talking about the role of human males in society, in the environment, right? For the women, you have the same thing. You have these 4 elemental archetypes or energies, which are basically just divisions of the major overall feminine energy, what makes a woman feminine versus masculine. And so these are the moon, the elegant rose, the treasure chest, and the seated hawk. So in the book, we describe these energies. And so the thing that makes you sexual is the more of these archetypes you bring online. You bring 1, you're doing something. You bring 2, that's better than average. You bring 3, you're starting to become a powerhouse. You get all 4 archetypes active and online, bam, you're doing the thing. So when you got 4 archetypes online as a male, your potential energy power, your battery of sexual energy is tremendous. And then you just have to figure out how to, well, it's the woman's job to figure out how to release it. But when you release that into orgasm or into healing or into attracting money or whatever you're doing with that, it's an explosion. It's major. It's big. Mm-hmm. If you got one archetype online, it's much less than that. When you know that it's a limitation of your potential as a male or as a female. Right. Now, these archetypes are the way that you are naturally able to perform the functions that men, the father function, the husband function, the planning function, the defending function. That's just, you are equipped to do the things that's going to be required, in a natural course of life. Right. Same thing with women. The moon is the maternal function, the pleasure, creative functioning, the attracting resources function, so you can do your family thing. And the seated hawk for the woman is her ability to operate her upper bodies. So the seated hawk is kind of special. That's that woman's ability to be intuitive, to get knowledge from out of nowhere, to be in tune with the ancestors in the elemental realm. I mean, the energy realm, to be in touch with the light body realm so that she can see. And in other words, it's like her big radar. So she's not limited to her house, her kids, her family. She can tap into this bigger network, this bigger picture, and get information and stuff that she needs, so her family, community can be happy, prosperous. So these archetypes are really important. Mm-hmm. And we wrote the books, and it sort of gives people a guideline for human development. Mm-hmm. In other words, we don't just say become a better woman. We say this specifically is how you do it. We don't just say become a better man. Boom, we got a specific roadmap, exactly how you do that and what the benefits are.
Mm. Those that are coming in, and I want to be clear with everybody that this brother has been doing it for over probably 30 years right now. And one thing we have to acknowledge is when elders are teaching this, we got to take our pen and paper. Believe me, I have my pen and paper out. Because it's so important for us, because like he said, a lot of us misunderstand a lot of this, and we don't take the time to learn it. He just gave different practices. We need to do healthy practices and all of that. So it's so imperative that myself, even being 53 and raising, we were taught wrong. Even my own father and mother said they was learning hands-on. They never really knew what sex was, because out of the Caribbeans, the family hid a lot of stuff. So Master Yao, with these powers that we have, or that we hide or keep to ourselves, how do we cultivate these powers, and what are some of the regimens that we can start to do before we even enter your class? What are some of the regimens that we have to go through before we even start and at least join your class on July 23rd? What are some of the things that we need to prepare for before we join your class?
You can get into the physical stuff that I talked about, but much more importantly is having an open mind.
Yes.
What hindered me so much in the 80s when I first started my journey was having a closed mind. I just, you just had to prove things 3 times before I even start paying attention to you, before I gave you any credibility. You needed some kind of a big degree and a following before I'd watch you. And basically I found out the people with the big followings, the people with all the books and the people with all the celebrity status didn't know anything at all. And it was the little people buried someplace on an island off to themselves that had the real secret knowledge that's going to help you. Mm-hmm. And so I had to learn who to listen to and why. In other words, I had to learn that some people are doing it and successful at it, and you need to listen to them. And a lot of people are talking about it. They got a big platform. They got a lot of celebrity going on. They got a good name. You know, people know who they are, but they don't really know anything. They can't really do anything. I mean, we got some preachers out here with $10 million churches. Can't do nothing. And when you look at the people in their churches, they have good hearts, but they're not changing from one year to the next. They're not improving. You got these politicians talking a lot of mess, you know, and then when you look at the situation in their district, it's not changing. You know, in other words, you know, people put their faith in them, but the situation doesn't change. It's not improving. You know, they keep giving you all of these excuses, but at the end of their term, things are worse off for people than they were when they got elected. And I can go on with the teachers. I mean, you look at the school system, and we're educating kids about everything except life. They don't know how to do life. They don't know nothing about finance. They don't know nothing about politics. They don't know about history. They don't know nothing about relationships. They don't know nothing about sex. Well, this is the stuff that you're going to need. These kids jump out of school, out of college, get into relationships, don't know the first thing about sex. They jump out of college, they give them $50,000 of student loan debt, and they don't teach them a darn thing about finance. And so it's like you're just preparing the person to fail. It's crazy. You know, to some of the things that you can do is really to clear your mind and not think that you know everything. Because this was my greatest hurdle. Okay. Because I had a big degree, I was a big time person, I had a big time salary, I had a big time corporate position. I was traveling around the world, you know, had a big brand new Mercedes. You couldn't tell me nothing. And, you know, I had to learn the hard way. It took me much longer to do this journey than it should have, because my mind was blocked. When people come into these classes, the potential exists for them to walk away with a treasure trove of benefits. Most of them get maybe half, a third of that, because it takes them halfway through the class before they start to take it seriously, because they're basically looking at everything thinking, okay, well, I already know this, and I'm comparing it, and they're spending all this time. Well, how can this possibly be true when they told me this, you know, last year? So you got to start fresh and say, okay, does it work? Does it work? Does it match natural law? Are there other people that know what they're doing who can collaborate this? And then you say, okay, then let's pay attention as if we can get some benefits out of this. So most people I know, what they want to do is they want to do some physical regimens. They want to do some sexual practices, maybe abstinence. They want to do some sexual exercises or some tantric exercises. That might help. But the best thing that you can do, you know, is to get an open mind, to meditate on being able to take information in and digest it accurately, to be able to be still with today. In other words, not to be stuck in the past. You know, when we look at these things, we tend to think, I can't do high-level orgasm because for the last 10 years, I have failed at regular orgasm. So you automatically assume, you walk up into class and you automatically assume, I don't think I can do this. Take some time to purge your mind of that. Say, my past is whatever it is, but it's possible because other people have done it. that from the time I begin the class until the end of the 7th session, that I can transform into something that I did not imagine I could, 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm. A lot of us, Baba, a lot of us don't think that, over the years, but like I said, I'm a novice myself still. Although I read inklings of it in Think and Grow Rich. In the 12th chapter, he wrote it in the chapter Transmutation of Sex. For some reason, you know what I'm saying? He wrote that. And it meant a lot, but I didn't understand that most of the people that Napoleon Hill, it was Napoleon Hill that wrote that book, and with Dennis Kimbrough, they use sexual energy to propel themselves in business, and how helpful this is. So please go into that a little, because that's a very important thing to understand for people that are now being pushed to be entrepreneurs online due to what's going on, and why we have to think positive. And like you said, you have to clear a lot of space in your head, but also that business thing about pushing us to business and understanding that sexual energy can really help us to manifest things in our life. Please explain a little bit of that.
Well, at the cell body, it's not that important, but at the energy body, sex is all important. And so what we have is that the woman has more, because she's yin, the woman has more of an influence on the money than the man does. So it's complicated to explain, but the woman, either she's attracting money and she's helping money, or she's blocking money and pushing it away. It's no in between. She's one or the other. And most women today, black women, white, Asian, it doesn't matter, but especially black women, are blocking money. And so, because they're blocking sex. And so if you line up with that woman, then you start to share in that block energy money that she's broadcasting, and your money gradually starts being blocked more and more and more. A lot of brothers have encountered this. They just couldn't explain it. So what you have is that when the woman is by herself, she's blocking her money. And when she connects with the man, he starts to take on that same vibration of being blocked. But the woman's energy starts being blocked even more, because she does not really want the man to succeed. If you're in a situation where the woman's not promoting her mate's business, she's very ambivalent. In other words, unless she is controlling the money or he's giving her the money, she's not really supportive of his money. That's going to block his money. And so he needs to withdraw from her until she changes that. The worst thing is that if she blocks the man's money, she blocks her own money even more. And then she becomes very depressed, very frustrated. So if you're an employee, it's less of an effect, because what's happening if you're working for someone is your mate's not tied to that, right? If you're an entrepreneur, you're very vulnerable to this. You're very vulnerable, both the woman and the man, to sexual blocks. So then the other side of it is, if the woman is supportive of his financial health and she unblocks herself sexually, his money starts to come, and her money even more. Most men are going to find that if they make that woman happy, if she's a money attractor, and you make her happy sexually, I mean, make her satisfied, make her feel like you love her, care for her, baby her, spoil her, you will benefit like gangbusters. And she doesn't really know what she's doing, but she's just, the happier she is and the more she feels secure, boom, money's going to start rolling in. Women just have that thing. And it's unfortunate that so many of them are blocking their own money, and they're blocking money because they're blocking sex. They're almost the same. It's like, the woman is attractive. It's like, that's how she's made. She's like a vacuum trying to be filled. And that includes money. It includes everything that she needs to live. And the more attractive she is, the more these forces, the more, if she doesn't try to put a harness on her force, on her sex, or her broadcast, or any part of her life, if she's living a little wild, a little unrestrained, a little outside the box, boom, those are the women that's going to get the money. And if you're connected with that woman, you're going to get that money too. Now, the man has his own dynamic, but the woman's dynamic is because she's attractive, and he's not. He's the opposite. He's an explosion. He's reactive. He's aggressive, and so he's assertive. So he's the opposite thing. So if the man is very, dynamic and getting money, if he's a go-getter, a hustler, and he hooks up with a money attractor, bam. It's going to be like Jay-Z and Beyonce. It's going to be off the chain.
And Baba, I experienced that in the club life, and I experienced that while I was doing. I used to produce swing parties, swing events for swingers, and I used to have a entourage of women, 12 core women in my swing parties that will serve and help and make sure everything was flowing. And every time I had certain parties, the money and the people will flow, especially when you choose specially choice women from out of clubs and all that can attract the money that you needed. So I can attest to that from even being in the club life, and many club men can understand that, because why we do and produce events was for women. That's why usually women was for free in Brooklyn. I used to run SOBs, or we had Temptation, and I had these different clubs that I used to run. So I remember recognizing those type of energetic influences from women, and I always wanted women around me for a reason, because even from my mother and grandmother, all of them were like money attractive because they had houses and they bought this and they did that. So I understand where you're coming from, even on a smaller level, but I think that was very important. Now, would you like any questions from the audience? Because I have some questions that people would like to drop on you.
Absolutely.
No problem. Okay, for those that are just tuning in, please remember to contact Master Yao for consultation and information. Remember, call him and make sure you're not a troll. We don't want no trolls. This is a respectful man. It's an older man that needs to take care of his business and do his thing. Remember, his number is 443-721-6062. I know he does consultation for couples, for single women, men, all of that. Cash App, and showing him some Tantric Cash App love at $Kemsa. That's $Kemsa. Show him some love. PayPal him or email him at the Grand Trine at Gmail, and for his products and website and his books. These two great books that I have: Awakening the Masculine, the Masculine, and the Master Masculine and the Master Feminine. Very good books to have in your library so you can study. And remember, his big event is coming up. Let me put that on the screen real quick, Bible, before we go into the question and answer for people. His big event that's coming up, I want y'all to make sure you support the brother. I mean, if you want to learn, believe me, this is the event to learn at. I'm telling you right now, I think my screen is moving kind of slow on it. There it is. Come on. Come on, where you so. This thing here. But it's all right, remember, his website is gti.wildapricot.org. That's gti.wildapricot.org. And remember, the event is happening on July the 23rd. Let's try it again. Let's see if we can put it up again. The event is happening on July 23rd. The Path to High Level Orgasms, including semen retention, family. So we got to get this down pack and understand this is what it's about, this is what it is, and this is about healing and understanding healing from a sexual and energetic perspective. So don't take it as nothing nasty and crazy, because you got some people that got warped mind. And Baba, I do have to ask this question because I think this is very important that we delve into this real quick before I take questions and answers from the audience. How do you feel about this new generation talking about toxic masculinity and toxic femininity? And how do people that want to join your class in any capacity, how do they overcome some of this toxic masculine and feminine energy that's being spewed through the airways, through television, through music? How do we overcome some of that, brother?
That's a tough question. It's a tough question. I mean, one of the big problems that we have is when people take one of our classes, because, you know, we have 7 classes that we do, and only one of them is Tantra, and only one other deals with sexuality. The other 5 classes don't deal with sex at all. And so we have people who take the classes and then they try to practice it. And they, you know, a lot of times even their mates give them a hard time, or their friends. And they feel like, you know, because they're doing something different, they're singled out for a lot of criticism. And so, unfortunately, to some extent, you just have to isolate yourself from it. That's not possible all the time. I would rather, you know, just not talk to somebody than rather to have to really confront that toxic thing. But I will confront it. And I mean, you know, right now, everybody wants to be friendly to homosexuals. Mm-hmm. We want to be friendly to transgender. We want to be friendly to people with, you know, pedophilia. We want to be friendly to people that's what you would call deviant. Now, you know, I don't mean it in a derogatory way, but I'm just saying, you know, if one person's what they call deviance is another person's normal. And now we all want to be politically correct today. But in doing that, what we find is that when you start to get into this natural path, the people who are on alternative paths, as I just said, are the first to criticize you and to give you toxic energy, because they feel that, you know, you're moving toward the natural, organic way. Therefore, you're going to be even more critical of my way because I'm not in the mainstream. I think that, you know, especially the homosexual community has to really take a hard look at the way it looks at people who consider themselves natural, conscious, whatever. It needs to be less critical of people just because they, you know, so I'm not trying to put that down, but why should you be toxic to the people moving in a more natural, organic direction? Simply because they're not moving in a direction that supports what you're doing. This is a big problem today. You have men who, you know, they want women to be a certain way. And then if that woman is not that way, if she's not a religious way, or if she's not, you know, she doesn't want to do head, if she doesn't want to do this, if she doesn't want to have sex on the first date, the first thing you want to do is like heap all kinds of criticism and jokes and belittle her. No. You know, women are out here, they're looking for any excuse to bash men. What it does is it really drives you away from being unified. You know, I can't support a lot of these movements because if you do, they will throw all this toxic energy at you.
Mm.
This is very unproductive.
Yes.
I mean, probably it's no more prevalent than in the feminist community.
Mm.
You know, so when you look at the history of the world is misogyny. The majority of men for the last 2,000 years have basically been a-holes when it comes to sex. I mean, they've even got the holy books messed up. They've got the misogyny into the religions.
Right.
And they've really treated women bad.
Yes, sir.
And as a reaction to that, in the last 100 years, you know, instead of getting to a place where we're trying to get men to cure themselves and evolve out of that, women have developed their own feminist ideology that is just as evil and just as dysfunctional as misogyny is. Mm-hmm. So it's like, okay, we're sick and tired of you with your your oppression. So now we're going to become oppressive. And so you just have these men and women like fighting now. Mm-hmm. And I can kind of, to some extent understand the impetus for feminism, because women are correct. I mean, they have gotten a really crappy deal in the last 2,000 years. And I mean, it's in the DNA. It's so bad now. Mm. But this reaction of feminism is extremely dangerous and extremely damaging to, to the white, black, whatever community it is. And, so now what do? You've got so many women who they're hanging their hats on that. And that's where they start. That's the platform from which they approach a relationship. And you've got so many men who are like, if they don't feel like their masculinity is being soothed in a negative way, they don't want to deal fairly with the woman. How do you navigate that?
Yeah.
How do you navigate that? This is where so many people are, and you've got these influencers and these celebrities piling it on because everybody wants to seem like they're tough and they're cool and they are I'm with it and I'm with the program and I'm acceptable. And so the poor man and woman who's just trying to have a happy relationship, that's hard.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Baba, we have a question up there, and thank you for that answer, because it is a rough time out here. Men and women are fighting each other like crazy, and there's a battle of this quote unquote sexes, when in ancient society there was a balance. So according to what I've studied through Kemet in Africa, there was a certain balance, and then even now Africa has gotten corrupted, and even India and different places that even practice arts like this, they've gotten corrupted. But someone just asked, does Tantra sex heals you from premature ejaculation and ED?
Yes and no. Learning Tantra itself will not. Practicing Tantra will. So, but if you're the man and you're practicing Tantra on a woman, that is not going to heal you from ED. If there's a woman practicing Tantra on you, yes, it will heal it. And we've seen this a lot. The other thing that you have to address is there are two dynamics going on, and we've just finished talking about them. One is if you're a man with the ED, you have to make sure you're not holding these misogynistic belief systems, because that's going to make it hard for you to heal. Number two, if you're a man and you're around these very masculine yang women, you're going to have erectile issues, guaranteed, because the women are causing them, because they're trying to be both feminine and masculine. And, you know, your penis is smart. It's smarter than men give it credit. When your penis senses a very masculine woman, it's like, nope, I ain't trying to go up in there. You know, overseas, I saw this woman and we talked and got to know each other. Very attractive woman. You know, I was in a third world country, or whatever you want to call it, an underdeveloped country, however you want to label it. But, you know, she was just real attractive. Mm-hmm. And I had the opportunity, and my thing would not work. And I was just like, wow, you know, I'm like, you know, I'm pretty good with this stuff. So I'm like, I'm completely shocked. It would not work. Mm. And later on, she told me she had a disease, an STD. Mm. So I was going to do it.
Wow.
My penis was like, no, you're not. Not. You can do it with somebody else's penis, but you're not.
I've been there. I know that for a fact.
So, you know, we used to do these kinesiology tests where, you know, you take your hand out like this and you put a weight on it, like a jar of something with a little weight to it. And they ask you a question, you know, and test the thing. And so, you know, I perfected a scenario where I said, okay, I want you to test your heart. So we'd have the weight, and then we'd say, you know, what is the heart? Is the heart of this person that you're trying to get into a relation? Are they going to break your heart, damage your heart? Are they going to, you know, do your heart good? So we give them a test and see if the weight would fall. Mm-hmm. And one day I realized that is what your penis is doing. When you're in ED, your penis is doing the same thing as the muscle test. It's kinesiology. And what your penis is saying is, number one, the man, you got some stuff you need to work on before you're sexually active. Or number two, your penis is saying, you need a different woman. This woman, her belief system is not in alignment with femininity. She's too feminist. Let it go. And, you know, when you're young, you want to fight your penis as a man. You know, you want to argue with your penis. Look, get up and get to work there. And the penis is like, no. It's like a 3-year-old kid that won't eat the squash. You try to shove it in the mouth and the kid just, you know, really quietly spits it out. They're not going to eat that squash, you know. And you know, and women have the same faculties. I tell women all the time, after the date's over, how does your heart feel? Sit down and be quiet to your heart and just go into your heart and just, is it beating fast? Does it hurt a little bit? Does it feel unusual? Because your heart will tell you if this guy's good for your heart or not. Wow. Your heart, the woman's heart will tell her. You know, if she, after the date, after he's gone, after the excitement, you know, and you've been to the nice restaurant and all like that, yeah, the food was good. But now sit down with your heart and just close your eyes and let your heart talk to you. Your heart's going to tell you how that man feels.
Yeah. But you know, Baba, that was a good story you just told. You know, especially because I've been there where, you know, it just don't work. You'd be like, whoa, leave it alone, stop. And yes, your heart is real, and your penis brain is real too. And ladies, your vaginal brains are real. One sister just asked, should women sleep with more men and often? This is her question. Should women sleep with more men and often?
The woman has a need for 4 male archetypes to feel sexually complete, especially the teen girl. She wants all 4. Not 1, not 2. She wants all 4. It's natural. So the woman wants the warrior, she wants the healer, the eagle, and the hunter. She wants all those sexual energies inside her womb. She wants to feel it, right? So most men only got 1 or 2. you know, most men only got 1 or 2, and they never finished puberty, and they're not really that sexually strong. I mean, most men today, I'm telling you, I went around the world, where all these supposedly virile, macho men are supposed to live. Italy, I looked at the women, they're not sexually satisfied. Africa, I looked at the women, they're not sexually satisfied. I looked at, different places where the men are supposed to be. And black men in America have the reputation for being the most sexually robust men in the world. It's a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. When you look at the women, that tells the story. The women are not sexually healthy. Because, the men are very possessive and they're in their dysfunction, and they want their woman to be happy with what they bring. Now, you can kind of understand it. You can kind of understand the man saying, look, I want her for me, but basically, if you're not evolving, she's going to become unhappy. She can't help it. She wants a complete man. She wants everything that a man's supposed to bring. And most men aren't bringing that. So she's always going to be, to a little extent, unfulfilled. Now, so what happens if she goes out here, as the lady says, and she gets all 4? Well, then and she gets caught. So I can't advocate one way or the other. My hands are tied. If I tell you to get what you naturally you need, you're going to get in trouble with your boyfriend. If I tell you no, don't sleep with a lot of men, I'm lying.
Right.
The solution is men need to evolve.
Okay.
And, until he gets his archetypes, until he gets at least 3, he might have to deal with this issue. Now, I would say for a woman under 25 who's not married yet, the man needs to work that out. Once you get over 30, 25, approaching 30, and and you got kids involved and stuff like that, okay, maybe you just gotta do without a little bit, right? See, it's a tough question. It's a good question, but it's tough.
Okay. I mean, it's all good. Now, that was a great answer, Bob. I know it's a tough one, especially in this society nowadays. A lot of us are frustrated. Both male and female are going through frustration. One sister, self-care boss, just said, when is it wise to practice celibacy or abstinence?
Celibacy and abstinence are not a good policy, because celibacy and abstinence mess you up, because you're broadcasting to the universe that you're not human, that you're not God. Because humans and God are always creating, and your creative energy is your sexual energy. Everything in your health is tied to that. Everything in your money is tied to that. However, if you are trying to break these ceilings, if you are trying to evolve from one level of sexuality, if you're trying to get out of that juvenile level and get up to the adult level, you might have to have a 2-week abstinence period to build your energy up. What I would say for men, don't be celibate, retain your seed. Okay? In other words, don't not have sex, just don't ejaculate. What I would say to women is don't stop having sex, because you need that communion with the opposite sex, but redirect the orgasmic energy from your pleasure center to your spiritual center. In other words, devote sex entirely to evolving to be a better person. And this is not that difficult to do. It's hard to do in the beginning because you want to just focus on the pleasure, and when you orgasm, you just want to let go. And channeling your orgasm into this spiritual energy that we're talking about takes a lot of the pleasure of it out of the equation.
Okay.
And people don't want to do that.
Yeah. A lot of people don't want to take the time to do that. You know, someone just asked, can Master Yao give insight onto how to draw the sexual energy upwards?
Exactly. So this is what this class is all about.
Yes, let's go into that.
It's exactly what this class is all about. I can't give all of the class information, but it begins by how the energy reaches the brain. So when you're dealing with juvenile sex and you're dealing with the clitoris or the penis, then it's peripheral. And the nerve centers and the nerve pathways used during sex are on the outside of the body, going to the cortex brain. And that's bad. So you want everything to go in the internal center, up the gastric complex, the limbic nerve, through the brain stem and into the limbic brain. That's where you want it to go. And so that's the first thing. Second thing is you want to involve all of the bodies. So when you have the energy body involved, which is what Tantra is all about, you start drawing the sexual energy upwards. Now, so you have to then, you want to always, your sexual energy needs to be building for that to happen. So, and it's going to start trying to pull your energy up from the lower chakras to the higher chakras. In other words, it's going to start to try to elevate you sexually. But to do that, your kundalini has to be able to rise up slowly, the basal kundalini. And so that means that you have to have sex in the right frequency. You can't have sex too often so that the level is slowly going down. You want to have sex enough, but not so much that you're using up all your kundalini. You need your kundalini to be constantly rising. So that means you got to stop. If you're having sex 2 times a week, every other day, then maybe every 3rd day, and then maybe every 4th day, and maybe every 5th day, until you see that level reverse and start to rise up. And then you're going to feel it. And so when the level is rising up, you're going to feel differently. You're going to feel horny quicker. You're going to feel more pressure, more stress. And then you have to start channeling the energy. When you're channeling the energy, it's going to rise up even more. And then you have to go to the next body, the light body. And that's a little more complicated conversation. In other words, you're opening the pathways up there so it can go up. And once it does go up, make sure you're not using it so much that it can't build up, that it can't accumulate. And once first it's the brain, then it's the energy body in the chakras, then it's the light body, and it will keep going up, and it will keep building. But if you want to have sex more, then you're going to have to produce more energy, eating better, exercising, qigong, and tantra.
Someone just asked, can you practice safe sex with tantra?
Yes and no. So if you're holding your seed, so I can have sex with the woman and not ejaculate. I can climax, not ejaculate. But I don't do it that often because the women don't feel safe. They don't trust it. Even though they didn't feel any ejaculation and they know that you're capable of doing it, they're so afraid of pregnancy that they still, feel insecure afterwards.
Mm.
So, I recommend simply just pulling out at that time or wearing a condom. The condom kind of defeats the purpose of a lot of stuff, but it's better than the person feeling afraid. When the woman is feeling afraid during sex, she can't really let go. So she's got to get to the point where she gets to that adult level, and then she can let go. Men, when they first learn to hold their seed, they're not perfect at it. So it is possible to get someone pregnant like the first few months.
Mm-hmm.
After you've been doing semen retention for 6 or 7 months, the prostate is strong enough, there's not going to be any ejaculate. There's some other stuff that can leak out, but it's not sperm. There's no sperm in it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it depends on your situation. If you've already got 3 kids and you can't afford them, I wouldn't take any chances. If you're young, seriously, I'm just real. If you're young, you're 22, and you kind of want kids maybe down the road. So if you get pregnant, it's not the end of the world, and you have faith and you feel your skills are good. Yeah, you go ahead and try it. You can do it, but most women don't feel confident with that.
Baba, one more question from off of Facebook. They say, what is the formula to deal with an angry woman? And also vice versa. What is the formula to deal with an angry woman, and vice versa? What is the formula to deal with an angry man?
Are you sure you want me to answer that, my brother?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because people are angry out here.
I hope I don't mess up your clientele and your audience by answering this.
No, sir.
But most of the really angry women today have entities attached to their light body. When you find women who are just angry all the time without a good reason, let's see. So if she didn't get a refund check, she got fired, and her kids are acting like fools, she got a reason to be angry.
Mm-hmm.
And so solve her problems. Don't worry about her being angry. Solve her issues. But most of them, it's not their issues. They're just angry. And in most cases, they have an entity, there's a negative entity attached to them at the light body level that has to be removed. Now, we remove these entities all the time. And we're going to talk about that in this class. We don't talk about it publicly like this very much because it's a sensitive subject. When people find out they have entity attachments, they're usually embarrassed. They're like, well, how did that happen? But the entity is angry because, it can't do what it used to do. So entity attachments, the most common type, are what we call dark deceased attachments. Somebody died. Usually it was not a comfortable death. In other words, their death was traumatic. They were murdered, committed suicide, they died in war, they died in a hospital of a disease, heart attack. Probably they were under 50. They were not ready to die. And so at the moment of transition, they attached to someone else's heart to keep from being sucked into the ancestor world. The other next type is elemental, which I'm not going to get into that too much, but that's the next most common type of attachment. Right. It's an elemental, and it's not fully conscious. It's not fully aware, sentient. And so basically it's replaying the same program over and over and over again. That's all. It's just constantly replaying it. And if that's an anger program, it constantly wants the person to be angry because it feeds off of that. The next most common thing is the person's they don't have an entity attachment per se. It's not a formal entity attachment, but they have a very close relationship with an ancestor who has died and passed on, who has unresolved anger issues from when they were alive. So, it's your great grandmother. She was a slave, and now she's angry because black people in America aren't doing anything, to deal with what happened to her. They're not seeking revenge. So she's constantly angry about this, and the woman picks it up in her spirit and is constantly angry. Now, there's other types of entity attachments, and some of them can be pretty bad. We're not going to get into those discussions right now. But these things are subject to humans are more powerful than these things if you learn how to do your energy, if you know what to do. So we remove these things all the time. And once we do, you're going to find that the woman changes. Because and oftentimes it's not the woman who's mad at you. It's the entity. When the entity is gone, all of a sudden the reason for the woman to be angry is gone as well. And she totally shifts. Same for men. Now, you've got men who are angry because they're victims of police brutality, they're poor, poverty, their situation, they're stuck geographically, they can't move to where they want to be. They feel a failure. They didn't get where they needed to get in life because nobody gave them a break. But a lot of men are just evil. They're just evil. And in most cases, what you find is they've got an entity attachment that's changing their energy. And once you remove that entity, they're a completely different person. Because I can tell you, we see it all the time. And there are people who get sick. And the reason that they're getting sick and they're chronically ill is they have an entity attached. Once you remove that entity from the light body, boom, they can heal and they don't get that sickness again. So back in the 1950s and 60s, from what I understand, these types of entity attachments were rare in the United States. But since the time of Ronald Reagan in the 80s, entity attachment has been epidemic and it's grown. And now we have just a very bad situation. It's really become much more common than people think. And it accounts for so many things that are unexplained that, you have women who just can't orgasm. You remove the entity and boom, they can orgasm. This is something that we don't want to talk about it, but it's real. And it's in the last 30 years, it has become epidemic.
Yes.
And, the reasons why, that's a whole nother show.
Yes. And once again, family, as you can see, if you want to contact, he got a great event coming up on July the 23rd. And let me put that path up on the flyer. Let me put the flyer up again because I think people need to, or my computer has been slowing down, but it's all right. I can get it right now. Make sure this path to high level orgasm includes semen retention regimen. It's like a 7-course meal that he offers, and you can go to his website. As you can see, you can contact him at the Master Yao. Contact Master Yao. Consultation for information and consultation. Couples, singles, whoever. Remember, his number is 443-721-6062. Let me repeat that slowly. 443-721-6062. Cash app him. Show him some of that tantric love. Brothers and sisters, show him that tantric love because the information he gave was so very imperative for our sexual healing health. Please show him that tantric love through Cash App. That's $KEMSA. That's KHEMSA. Or you can show it through to PayPal if you're overseas, because I know Cash App is not working from over England and all that. Use the PayPal, and the PayPal email is the Grand Trine. That's the Grand Trine at Gmail. And for products and website information, please, especially about this special class. Believe me, he's like he said earlier, he don't use usually teach a lot of this stuff out in the public and all that. So a lot of the information that you're going to get is world-class information. So go to his website, gtiwildapricot.org. That's gti.wildapricot.org. The event is July the 23rd. He's doing live streaming, but he would prefer you to be there in the building, but he's doing live streaming because there's no experience than the real experience. And so, but the live stream is also a good. Baba, I want to ask you about two books that I had, and that was shared with me years ago by a dear friend, a mutual friend of ours, and her name is Sunyata Amen. And tell me about these books and how are these books any good? And I want you to just hear the book. Hear the book. These books here. This one here is Multi-Orgasmic Man, and the other one is called Cultivating Female Sexual Energy.
You know, I lived in Washington, D.C. Maryland, right outside of about the same time that she did. And I used to speak at her, she had something called Belly Dancers of Color. Very nice for entertainment purposes. She had some real cutie pies up in there doing the belly dance. And I used to speak at some of her conventions and conferences. She was talking about sexual kung fu back when, you know, all of us started talking about this stuff around the same time. But at the time, she was a pioneer. You know, she was, you know, a lot of people, I mean, because she was a cutie pie and she was doing all the other stuff, you know, she kind of was accepted a little bit better than me. But most of the women, you know, talking about the stuff that she was talking about, they weren't accepted at all. So, I mean, she kind of opened up the doors for a lot of people that came after her. And yes, the one book I've read is very good. You know, some of the women take it wrong. They took certain passages in there and reframed them in like a feminist way. And so I wasn't too keen about that. But the concepts overall, I thought were very good. And I think that she was on the cutting edge at the time she started talking about this stuff.
Well, thank you very much, Robert, for being a part of this journey King Simon presents. I want to thank you. You shared a lot of information, and I do implore everybody, go to this master workshop that you're doing on July the 23rd. That event taking place July the 23rd. If they want to go to the website, gti.wildapricot.org / that's gti.wildapricot.org. And remember, you can hit him up, call him 443-721-6062. Cash App, that's $KEMSA, KHEMSA, PayPal, or email him from across the seas or any part of the world in the world at the Grand Trine at Gmail. That's the Grand Trine at gmail.com. And remember, for products and these beautiful books that he has, make sure you get these books, The Awakening of the Master Masculine and The Awakening of the Master Feminine. I got my books, I'm studying them because I want to be a better person for whoever I'm going to partner with to do what I got to do. So once again, would you like to say any big ups or say any shout outs, Master Yao?
Number one, the class is for both men and women. I want to stress that.
Yes.
It's even more, I think, for women than men. Number two, there are 7 sessions. It's not just one day. So the class runs from July into September. So there's so there's sessions, and on the weekend sessions, one day you learn, the next day you do. So the class is for both men and women. I want to, just say that, I did a lot of research and study and initiations and travel to get this information, but also a lot of women that I had relationships with helped me learn this. I got to a point where I asked questions. So, I give credit to the women that I had past relationships with because they helped me to come into some of this information. I want to shout out to them. Also, I want to shout out to many of the Grand Trine members who started out as students, but who then became more advanced, and many of them contributed to this bank of information. I especially want to thank Don Green, one of our most advanced students, and Tim Gibson, Stan Steele. We've got a bunch of female students also in there who made contributions, too many to name. So, Grand Trine is really becoming a very cultivated cultural organization that's more than just Master Yao. And that's really what I want to say. The legacy I hope to leave behind is a group of hundreds and thousands of people all doing this work, all contributing, and who, eventually will leave something behind that won't depend on one person. And won't be one person won't get the credit, and one person won't be, my name is right now associated with Grand Trine. But in time, I'm hoping that Grand Trine will be seen as an organization that will last 1,000 years, made up of a bunch of people who all contributed to it.
How do we become a student? How do we become a student? If I want to become a student, how do I go to the website?
Right now, we have a membership organization, but a lot of the benefits that you used to get, we can't do that anymore. So, the membership is going through a major transition right now. So members now, they get big discounts off the classes, and they are in the organization, and they can associate with a lot of mentors and stuff like that. So that's a good benefit, but we're changing the membership now so that you get much more benefits. And so that's another 30 to 60 days off, but we're changing the website right now to change the membership benefits. Also, if you take any class, once you finish the class, you become a member. And there's some of the things I can't really talk about right now, but we've been working for the last year on doing a dating site. So a lot of our members have trouble dating because after they go through this stuff and become kind of superhuman, it's hard for them to find a mate that's willing to tolerate them. And so what we're looking at is coming up with a dating site app that will allow, people to be certified before they join, so that you've got a group of people who are just regular people and a group of people. In other words, basically, we're going to say, if you've taken certain courses, we're going to show that on the app, and that's like, a plus. So then who you're dating, and try to get a better class of less toxic people, so that people can come on a dating site that's geared to people who are not just trying to hook up. We still haven't quite got all the kinks out of it yet, but that's the next thing that we're looking to do with our membership is make it so that members become a pool of people, a few thousand people, and they can date. They can find people, to date, so that they can practice this stuff. So that's the goal this year in 2020.
Well, once again, I want to thank you very much, Baba, for allowing us to take up some of your time and bring your wisdom to my forum here. I want to thank, of course, people like Ankh Rising Sun. I want to thank Brother Ricardo from out of Black Tantric, New York, for introducing your books to me, but also Brother Ankh Rising Sun for me seeing you, hearing you on his blog talk. And I want to thank you, and I want us to give you a well-deserved round of applause for just showing and sharing all that you shared. Always give a round of applause to our Baba, Master Yao, for being a part of this. And once again, thank you very much. I'm not going to keep you too long, but thank you very much, Baba.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Always blessed. Take care, brother. All right. That was Master Yao. Want to thank him, of course, and him and his greatness that he's done. And I want to thank him, you, and all of you that came through to hear this great master drop the wisdom that he dropped and gave that understanding that he gave. Wow, was again, contact Master Yao, please, because like I said, I'm considering this membership stuff. Like I said, I was introduced to this stuff years ago through these books. Big up to Dr. Sunyata Amen, who is a personal friend of mine. I even know her birthday. She's born in May, so you know I know her. And Aton is the one that introduced me to her. She used to come to my reggae concerts back in the day, and she's related. People won't know she's related to Beres Hammond, the reggae artist. They share the same family name. So, cultivating female sexual energy, people. This is a very good book by Montauk Chia, and also Multi-Orgasmic Man by Montauk Chia and Douglas Abram. But I want you to make sure you get Master Yao's book, because this is helping you to awaken the master feminine. You can go to his website and order this book right now. You can go to his website, order this book, and this is Awakening the Master Masculine. I lost this book earlier this year due to Greyhound mishaps, but I had to reorder it so I can be the very best I want to be for whomever, whatever partner I'm going to drop this wisdom in. But like he says, you need another partner that's willing to get this superhuman strength by involving this tantric healing in these tantric sessions. And like I said, I read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill and the one by Dennis Kimbrough. And which is so interesting because that chapter, I think it's chapter 11 or 12, it talks about being able to use sexual energy to propel you to success in entrepreneurship, in business. So sexual energy is very important. And I tell people all the time that sexual energy is one of the most powerful energy in the universe, because yin and yang, and the male, masculine and feminine, is always working in unison and producing and creating. Two masculines don't work together. Two feminines don't work together. It has to be the balance of the masculine and the feminine in a pure, powerful, productive, intentional. It can't be toxic. It cannot be toxic. It cannot, let me repeat it again. It cannot be toxic. It has to be something that we have to work on it. It does take work. I'm never, even when you come to me and do a numerovation session, I tell people it takes work. I'm working on myself still. 53 years in. Master Yao is a little year older than me. Various people are older than me, so they working on. I forgot to ask him a question about something that Nit Yama used to do, because Nit Yama used to take down people's birthday before he does the whole healing Reiki energy movement and brought women to orgasmic. Because those who was there at National Black Theater when Nit Yama came, and him and Nit Yama are good friends. They both are grown up in this. Him and Nit Yama are good friends. And let me tell you, when we brought Nit Yama to National Black Theater in front of 350 people, I brought a friend of one of my friends was there, and they never experienced what they experienced. But she jumped on that table, and all we can hear is this orgasmic energy just pouring through her voice, her vocals, her throat. Everything was manifesting. So this is real. I've seen it live and direct. I've seen it live and direct, and those 350 people and other people that have gone to classes with Black Tantric group, and of course the Grand Trine. Please, if you're going to join, I'm going to go join that group. So as soon as you get everything together on that website, I'm definitely going to become a part of it, because as I'm going into more into my 50s and my 60s, I want to be able to retain my energy and practice retention. And that helps me to, I look young now, but I'm going to even look younger when I get into my 60s and 70s once I start learning this stuff, because I need it. I need that. And once you start, like, because yes, I am. Big up to Unc Rising Sun. Make sure you get Unc Rising Sun shirts. Yes, I am. And once again, let me big up his website to contact Master Yao for consultation and information for couples and singles. Please, some of y'all need it, because some of y'all are frustrated, especially our sisters. They're frustrated. A lot of mercy. and remember, give him a call at 443-721 6062. That's 443-721-6062. Cash App our dear brother. Show him love. Even if you don't show me, thanks me. I want to thank somebody who did send me a Cash App. Big up. They said it was a great show, but show him some love. Really, it's all about these elders, these Babas. You know, I show love to the Babas, and I want the Babas to get all of the accolades, all of the love. Cash App him at $ Khemsa. That's KHEMSA. Cash App him. And PayPal him also. If you can't do it from England, PayPal him. Show him some of that love. That's the Grand Trine at Gmail. Show him that love. And for his products, like I said, these two books, I'm delving into this book right now, but I'm going to study this book also because I got to study the feminine as well as the masculine so I can bring balance to whatever relationship I deal with. To get his products, go to the website to join that big seminar, online workshop, or in the house workshop. For July the 23rd, go to gti.wildapricot.org/. That's right. Not /events. It's just / I think it's store. So make sure you go to wildapricot.org. Oh, man. I'm telling you, somebody help with that. I'll ask him if he's going to resume his YouTube channel. You know, I know he's very informative. And once again, I want to thank Master Yao, man. He was extremely informative. A lot of things he couldn't tell, a lot of things he withhold because it's necessary, because a lot of people will take this type of information and use it to do all kinds of craziness. And we want to be very careful of that. And with anything else, like numerology or astrology, cardology, or tantric, you got to have the proper intentions. You got to have proper intentions. You got to come with the proper, pure, exhilarating, healing intentions when you do things like that. So again, let me give a well-deserved round of applause to Master Yao and thank him and all those that have studied under him. Want to thank him and all those that like I said, thank Ankh Rising Sun and thank Brother Ricardo from Black Tantric Group. Make sure you hit him up on Instagram, Black Tantric Group on Instagram. Check them out also. All right. Well, Facebook, thank y'all very much. Wasette, I'm sorry you missed it, but you get to watch it over. You get to watch it over, Sister Wasette. Thank you very much. But hey, guess what's coming up next? This coming, let me see. Well, not this Saturday, but I want to big up, of course, the Happy documentary and movie is coming out. The world premiere is July the 18th. www.happyfilms.com. Get your front row tickets on any devices, any and all devices. And after the premiere, you can actually get the DVD for it. So get the DVD or the digital download. If you're still into DVDs, beautiful. If you're not, it's wonderful. You can still get it. And moving forward to the next advertisement, family. Hey, here we go. I just want to remind everybody coming up on King Simon Presents Sunday, July the 5th, Sister Aquarius Maximus is coming in live and direct. Ooh, beautiful sister, beautiful energy, beautiful spirit, Scorpion energy, just like Master Yao, which is interesting. Both of them are Scorpions, and Master Yao is born the same day as A.A. Rashid. Both of them is born on the 13th, and Maximus is born on the 16th, the same day as Booker T. Coleman, or a.k.a. Kaba Hiawatha Kamene. And that's interesting to me. You know, I start studying those numbers. You know what it is. So sister, the cardologist and the Guap Coin founders coming in on July the 5th. On Wednesday, July the 8th, Sister Shahrazad Ali coming in. Don't forget, July 4th, that's this Saturday, Minister Farrakhan is going to be speaking, NOI.org. Check out Minister Farrakhan as he dropped the wisdom and dropped the knowledge of what's going on in the world today. You know, Minister, you know how the minister gets down. So it's not up here, but July 4th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So check out the minister on that. But July the 8th, Sister Shahrazad Ali is coming in live and direct right here on King Simon Present. On July the 11th, that's Friday. Oh, no, that's Saturday, July the 11th, special broadcast, Happy Film broadcast with the executive producer, Brother Taki, will be in the building. And then from Benue Ascension program, the one, the only priestess Het Heru is coming in July the 12th. Also, I got Phil Valentine coming in. I got Sister Professor and martial artist, Sister Zahalia Anderson coming in. Ooh, I got, and I believe I got Copper Child Mike coming in too. So we got to confirm that date. Copper Child Mike, you know, he creates all the crowns that myself, Polite is wearing, Red and Blue Pill is wearing. So make sure you get with that and see what's going on, because we're going to have a lot of people coming up. And then August, I'm going to calm down and focus on more numerovation, because as I prepare to release the book, I'm going to be breaking down certain things about numerovation and the importance of mental stability. So I might not have that many guests in August, because August is one of my power months, and I need to use that efficiently to promote the book. And of course, bang, if you want to pre-order the book, hey, pre-order the new book, Numerovation for Mental Stability, because we need motivation. And one of the best modalities to motivate you is through the numbers connected to your name and your birthday, and then all the cycles and everything else in as a part of it. So Numerovation for Mental Stability, the pre-orders I'm taking pre-orders right now. The price is only $40.40. That's right, 40/40. Stop playing. It's like the club, 40/40. And 4 is one of my power numbers, so it is what it is. And please do it via PayPal, or you can do it Shopify. But if you go to PayPal right now, you can actually do it via PayPal right now. That's www.paypal.me/the Numerovator. My son just texted me and said he bought 3 books. Big up Prince Imagine, you something else. That's my son. He's number 5, so I wouldn't be surprised if he don't buy the book. Because number 5, they get into their sexual activities deep. So big up to my son, Prince Imagine. He said he just texted me. I seen it, brother. And please, if you're going to order my book, please include the full name and mailing address in the PayPal. Remember, 40/40 includes shipping and handling, everything. It includes all of that, shipping, handling, and everything. And I might even send you a DVD. The first 100 people that buy my book, I might send you a DVD of other things, some special stuff about numerovation and all that, or just give y'all a link to my classes online that's coming up soon. So hey, it's going to be powerful. So it is what it is. Also, friends and family, if you look at that, look at what I got there. Now, this is very important. You can save 10% with the coupon code King Simon 2020 at pedalwise.com. That's pedalwise.com. Not only does she serve men for as far as viral venereal infections and all that kind of stuff, but she focuses on women. She focuses on that's his website. She focuses on women because she's a natural gynecologist. She helps out the women. She got products and produce for women to remove cysts and help with removal of fibroids and all that kind of stuff. So make sure you contact pedalwise.com and please put in the coupon code King 2020, King 2020 for King Simon, King 2020, and be a part of that healing revolution, especially for our sisters, because a lot of the stuff that y'all are developing, sisters, is due to stress, due to bad eating habits. And do a consultation with Pedalwise also. You can go to the website, get the numbers, or email it through the website, and do a consultation so you can reverse the effects of anything that's happening in your body, whether it's tumor, whether it's breast cancers or cancers are showing up. Sister can help you from an African herbal perspective and a Chinese herbal perspective. It is a Black owned and operated, or melanated owned and operated company. So big up to her and Tito and the whole family that's doing their thing over there at pedalwise.com. Also, if you want to find out more about real estate and do a consultation with this beautiful sister, Janelle Lewis, please hit her up at 347-866-1153. That's 347-866-1153. I've known her for 15 years, and she's been doing her work, licensed real estate salesperson. She could also give you guidance to buying apartments, buying condos, buying commercial property, all of that, even access to Airbnbs and how to get Airbnbs and where you're traveling in different parts of the world that you may travel. Check this sister out, 347-866-1153. And that's Janelle Lewis. And big up to her children. Her children just graduated. One graduated from high school going to college. The other one graduated from junior high going to high school. So big up to them, Jandora and Jordan. Big up to y'all. And of course, if you want to do a numerovation consultation session with me, remember, I do not do readings. I do consultation. I do advisory sessions with me. It's a it's actually a conversational session. So we're talking, we're asking questions, we're getting in and out for the 30 minutes that you're with me. I even go over time. Sometimes I go over 35 or 40 into 10, 5 or 10 minutes. But for an appointment, please text me your full name and date of birth to 347-496-1022. That's 347-496-1022 for that special advertisement rate. And remember, studying numbers or numerology is applied mathematics. If you learn how to apply your own numbers connected to your name and your birthday, they will give you guidance, so you can get out of being mediocre and acting all crazy and holding yourself back. Stop holding yourself back. Do what you have to do. You ain't got nothing to lose. You ain't got nothing to lose, family. Believe that. You ain't got nothing to lose. All you have to do is just do. Like Jordan used to say, just do it. Just do it. Once again, don't forget my books. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. You can get this on Amazon and Kindle. Numbers Are Simple, People Are Complicated. Remember, all these 3 books that I'm going to show you is published by Dr. Africa and his wife. So anytime you support me, you support the elder also. Boom. This book is Numbers Are Simple, People. No promotion is bad promotion. No promotion is bad promotion. That's also a book online on Amazon and Kindle. All publicity is good publicity. And also this book is a children's book, but it's also for adults. Numbers Are Simple. Our children's health is important. That's Numbers Are Simple. Our children's health is important. And don't forget to subscribe. Click on the bell and be notified if you want to find out what's coming up next. Woo! Had a good time already. I'm so glad we had this time together and just to have a laugh and talk about some Tantra. Oh boy, we talked about it. So enough respect to, again, Master Yao that came up and shared some great wisdom from the elders. And I've been around some great elders over my years. So I am so honored. I have a story to tell. That's why when my autobiography come out in the next 2 or 3 years, when the late bell rang, it's going to be off the hook, because I have so much to say. I have so much to share, so much wisdom. Of course, everything won't be in the book, but it is what it is. We're going to share as much wisdom as we can. And remember, if you do want to share, like, subscribe to build this algorithm right here on King Simon Present, please do so. And don't forget, I have a Patreon page. Those who want to see the Phil Valentine and Dr. Nalani event that I did previously a couple of months ago, please go to patreon.com/King Simon Production. That's patreon.com/King Simon Production. I'm telling you, family, Phil Valentine is dropping some wisdom on there. Also, my website is kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. That's kingsimonproductions.wordpress.com. Cash App is King Simon 3158. That's Cash App, King Simon 3158. And my PayPal is www.paypal.me/King Simon. That's paypal.me/King Simon. And if you do want to set up a session with me, please use text me 347-496-1022. And if you are outside of the United States, use WhatsApp. If you are outside of the United States, use WhatsApp. Befriend me on IG and Facebook at King Simon Productions. That's King Simon Production on IG and Facebook. And once again, share, like this video, because it's all about the information. And please be safe out there. Take care of your health. Take care of your family's health. Take care of what you do and how you do. Be your very self. And I'm going to leave you. Hold on. That's the wrong song. That's not the song I want to leave you with. I want to leave you with one life to live, because that's true. We only got one life to live, and we have to live it. And remember, three of my children's books are going to be based on the songs that I wrote back in the 80s and the 90s. This is one of the songs, Black and White Stories, the other one song, and I'm deciding on the other third book, but they're all going to be children's book with great illustrators, great people. And I'm working with a few illustrators now, and can't wait to put out that book after I do the Numerovation for mental stability. Up, you mighty nation, you could accomplish what you will. And regardless of land, label, or language, there is but one divine essence that's connected to all of us. All you have to do is say, yes, I am, and you will be. All right? Like I have become and still becoming on multiple levels. So be great, be successful, stay focused. King Simon is out of here. Y'all take care of yourself. One love, one aim, and one destiny.
We only have one life to live. Yeah, 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 yeah. they say. You should always try to live a positive life anyway. We only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive or negative vibes, 'cause you won't make it no matter what they say. We should always try to live a positive life anyway. We all know time is running out every day. The people they know that life is not a game that we play. If you're not sure about this test, I want the whole world to confess that we all should try to live our life the best way that we can. So I know we only have one life to live, and we gotta live it. Don't even strive on negative vibes, 'cause you won't make it no matter what they say. You should always try to live a